Well, just it's a little bit of education itself.
Were you involved?
Actually, I didn't do like
I'm sorry.
I wasn't when I was
Emily Zeiler.
Emily Zeiler.
Emily freaking Zeiler.
I requested to be your friend on the real.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't have, I believe that. Redownload it, tries to be my friend. Hey, do you want to redownload it? It's my friend's
It's a
friend.
little bit more. The one where they.
Right. As soon as I use the mouse and like
Is Brad?
Yeah, no, I looked and I looked and I was like, none of my needs fit. So I can buy new ones. But so I really looked at all of them and I was like, front feet in my fucking absolutely no. Did I wear anything? Anything to change my style? I was like, no, this literally one piece, done. Have I shaved? Have I washed my hair?
Yeah.
That's a new
It was really
What?
important for me too.
You're Margaret Boyd.
Learning.
For better or worse, yeah.
Emerson applied.
You haven't applied? Yay! I love that.
She's
for you.
applying for Senate too.
Fantastic. We love that. I did.
Yeah.
I got your
But I
email.
just kind of lost like.
Did you get my email?
That's where I got my
Fantastic.
interest from, my interest in arguing with people. It's not this. Like every Saturday, I have 8 months.
I really love the image of you giving the sacrifice dress. I really love that like, mental image.
Do you know anything about AOC? No. Well, yeah, we're not talking to him right now. So.
I don't want to be
Right.
on it either, but I'm gonna
Well, we're discussing the auction.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think it's probably also most of you.
Okay.
Are we recording yet, Molly?
Yes. We're recording and transcribing.
Conversation on the way.
Later.
Yeah. I'll be in for office hours this week officially. Now I'm feeling better and Didn't need to. But I don't know.
For
No, Nate, not help.
I think it's 20 minutes.
On Saturday, I just represented.
Oh, yeah.
At the discovery day.
So you saw the response.
At a discovery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
What does that even mean? What did you do?
I sat there and I just like,
It's also
everyone, it was like, we still got a little bit of transfer. But so many parents and parents that I was like gradually lost my voice some days. I didn't even have the ability to laugh. That's how bad.
That's our computer
I couldn't make any noise.
Have a fry. I don't know how you got in there.
I would sure love to see 24/7.
She did it, but she just straight up did not
There is
respond.
money out there.
I asked her,
You went at the GDM.
I wanted to be able to help. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's what she wants. She wants to receive those. Yeah.
Not that bad.
That would be a possibility if I had mentioned
This is our
Well, like weapons.
Like, the GDMs are mandatory. I'm
with
like,
the guy that everybody made it
Yeah. Yo, that's because, oh, no,
I don't
Here.
I think anytime police.
oh yeah.
So it has
all the people around you, and then. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about Janine.
I have a question.
We really said.
So it says the chat is available. I can type in it says that they can't. So I sent a text message to see if you could like it, and it doesn't look like you can.
And chat, yes. Did you go through it?
This, I know it's 50.
Yeah, did chat go through
Get Luke?
it? What? Wait, who? Yeah, that's because they're not part of the organization. Because this tennis meeting is through the organization. Not the organization. And by organization, I mean nobody.
He sent it to Ted first, I think.
Go, go.
He's like, oh my god, wrong application. But I got it now.
Can't see it at all.
No, that's how it works.
And that's, yes.
People start asking the questions.
He told me she doesn't want to go there. She told me she was feeling fine. She's either mine's manager or maybe it's She's like,
Now,
I won't be able
she's
to
not like,
respond
if you're not
appropriately.
feeling great, man.
I have a feeling adverse. So, yeah, that, just wanted to find out who had.
God, because I can't speak, I cannot. Oh, yeah. I literally cannot be confused. So I have everybody. Yes.
There, or do we have one?
That's not a valid question.
That's what I thought.
we're not going to be able to put an independent team check. It's going to have to be a separate team. That all of us are invited to. Okay. What is different than what you make it? I believe so, but you can. Right now, there's nothing in the list. Someone will have to call in. Sure. And I'll just be good.
Well, they can still unmute themselves.
Okay. Just say I present the amendment. I just want to watch X, Y, and Z. No,
I'm just gonna tell you, this will be on for voting,
Yeah.
and just put it out loud, and it'll come where there. It should.
Oh, you weren't late, okay, cool.
That is what we will have.
Hey.
So they can't see this out.
Yeah.
So I will.
They don't have access. They're restricted from access to it
Right.
until we make it not.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, let me. You and I need to work
I'm at appropriation time. I'm good.
As I just told Linda.
She wants to take classes later.
Alrighty.
I call this meeting to order. Are there any students to speak out this evening? Behind me now. Okay. Seeing none, we can proceed to announcements. Any announcements for the body today? All right, seeing none, we can move on to our presentation. I would like to introduce our Senate Appropriations Commission and our Treasurer Trinity Robinson to give a presentation on SAC. Welcome, Trinity. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, these glasses are dirty. So, welcome. Thank you for your time. I am not the entirety of the Senate Appropriations Commission. So I want to say greetings to Student Senate, but I also want to highlight our overall board as well. We have our recently appointed commissioner, Patterson Jay, who is the commissioner of the Senate Appropriations. We also have Phoenix Curry Garcia, who is vice president of financial affairs. We have Commissioner Varganer, who is a delegate within SAC as well. We also have Eli Plus, who is the senator for the Senate Appropriations Commission. And then we also have Kaden Hibbs, who is the environmental affairs for Senate, but he also goes to all of our SAC meetings and is required to attend, just to make sure that we're following all of our sustainability protocols that are put on us by the university. But he's amazing at his job. But I am Trinity Robinson, and I'm the treasurer of Student Senate, and I want to thank you all for your time today. So the overall idea of SAC is that people don't know what it is, know what we do, know our overall responsibility as a commission itself. So today, my overall goal is to provide you with more information on it, but also in the end, if you still have any questions, please feel free to direct them towards me. But yeah, we can go ahead and get started. So the Senate Appropriations Commission is a commission within Student Senate, but it's more seen as more of as a division. We are in charge of approving, evaluating, and allocating funds to student organizations. They are submitted through funding requests to us, which we review on different bases, but I'll go into that later about different types of funding cycles. But the Senate Appropriations Commission is in charge of handling an overall budget that is allocated to SAC, and from there we do funding decisions based on the applications that we receive. They go through a couple different processes of evaluation. First, it goes to the individual reviewer, which is these individuals here, also including our different 3 representatives for our big 3 organizations. If you're not aware what a big 3 organization is, am I blocking the camera? I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was standing in front of the entire camera. But our big 3 organizations consist of the Black Student Cultural Programming Board, BSCPB, the International Student Union, which is ISU, and then the University Programming Council, UPC. And they are considered the top program for programming for our student organizations. So they are allocated 60% of SAC's overall budget every year. So we do have representatives from the organizations that sit on SAC as well and also help us with our bi-weekly funding decisions. Debbie Ward is the treasurer for BSCPB. For International Student Union, we have John Regney, who is the treasurer. They're all the treasurer of their organizations. And then for the University Programming Council, we have Reagan Goldberg. All amazing individuals, and I'm so glad that we have gotten back into the habit of actually actively having them participate on SAC, as 60% of the overall budget is a lot of money, so we definitely want to make sure that they're doing their due diligence to student organizations. But that is what we do as SAC, and we have a couple of different types of funding cycles, but I wanted to highlight our overall totals of our accounts. So to start the year, we started out with $326,879.48. And this is comprised of the spot fund and the U fund. So a little bit of the difference between the two. The U fund, it used to be made up of the judiciary fee that students were charged, whether that would be different things for different court proceedings or different fees that they would have, along with different, it's a fee that was assigned to them through different court proceedings that would go into this account. We do not charge students that anymore, so the U fund is dwindling. It's not to say that SAC is losing money, we're just not charging students that fee anymore, so that fee is not going into this account. But it started with $13,565.72, and that was at the start of the audit in July. The spot fund sat at $313,076. That's a ton of me, sir. My apologies. But that was what we have overall to allocate to student organizations, and we use both the U fund and the spot fund to decide what we allocate. The only difference in the 2 accounts is what days the events are held on. So Monday through Thursday, that money comes out of our spot account, and anything over the weekend, so Thursday through Sunday, is our U fund account. But with the U Fund dwindling, once that's out, it's out, and we just have to switch over to the spot account, so all of the events funding will come out of there. But that's just the difference in the two accounts. On my report every week, I do a SAC total. That is just the total of those two accounts. But the SAC account itself is the spot account. I know that's kind of a lot, but the SAC account itself is the spot account. But currently, our current balance for our overall SAC total is $277,872.61. And then continuing on to our U Fund, we have $6,412.45. So that number is going down just because we are approving student organizations from that account. And for our spot account, we have $271,460.16. I'd like to see this number drop because that means that we are able to allocate money to our student organizations, and we are actively doing so through our funding decisions, which I love. So our overall goal is for that number to hit zero, just because we want to be able to provide student organizations with as much programming funds as possible, but we also want student organizations to do more and reach out and think of different ways to target students through programming. So I love seeing funding decisions come through, and my goal is for that number to be very low. Continuing on, this is a breakdown of SAC's overall budget. So starting with the big three representatives, they are allocated up to 60% of SAC's overall budget. Semesterly funding, which is a funding cycle that takes place each semester. It takes place each semester, and those funds are applicable for the student organization for the following semester. So if we were applying, say I was an organization and we were applying for events for the spring semester, we would apply this semester, which is also due November 11th. So if you're in any student organizations, that application is open and you are available to apply, but it is due November 11th. But all of those funds that are applied for roll over and are used for the next semester. It's an amazing opportunity for student organizations to apply for funding without a cap. Semesterly funding applications do not have a cap on the amount that they are able to receive. So when we're thinking about student organizations doing a lot of their bigger events, that is when they were going to apply for semesterly funding. Bi-weekly funding is something we do more of a rolling basis, and it happens every 2 weeks throughout the semester. They'll still continue to happen as well. I had a lot of questions about whether we were going to stop bi-weekly funding once we release semesterly. No, we are still doing bi-weekly funding up until the very last date of that. And we're going to do semesterly funding. It's due on the 11th, but we're just taking those applications as we still approve bi-weekly because we recognize that student organizations are still doing programming events, even if the semesterly funding application is out. But that is something we do on a rolling basis, and it has a cap of $1,500 per application. So we encourage student organizations for much more of their larger events to definitely look into semesterly funding, but also contact SAC for any questions about logistics, just so we have all the things figured out before we review their application, but also so they're not working with a cap throughout the semester of trying to need $1,500 for maybe a large event. Up there, the new student organization grant. So every new student organization that goes through the procedures that they need to, comes up with the Constitution, go to the Campus Involvement Center to become a new student organization, receives $150 out of this budget. And that is approximately 1% of SAC's overall budget, just because we don't have that many new organizations year after year. However, we do give them that $150 to kind of jumpstart their overall organization, just because we realize how difficult it is to generate funds, especially being a new organization. But this will give them the opportunity to start some programming. So they do get that $150 if you do become a new student organization on this campus. But that's pretty much all about that. I do want to highlight that going into our overall what we approve, we've been able to, it's not us putting on the event, SAC is just really a middleman. SAC is a middleman, we're able to allocate money to student organizations, but it's really the work that individuals are doing in the student organizations that matters, the events that they're putting on a program with students and how they're connecting to the overall student body. We're just able to fund it. So SAC is not the end all be all, it's really the overall cultivation of the ideas itself and the drive from these executive boards to be able to put on some amazing events. And I'm actually very glad that in the summer we were able to facilitate an early bird funding cycle, which was an ability for student organizations to be able to generate funds before the start of the academic year. I noticed that through the summer, student organizations, clearly they're not on campus, you don't have the opportunity to maybe fundraise, and the people you're directly fundraising to are college students. So with them not being on campus, you don't have the opportunity to do that, but all of us are also home as well. So I wanted to create an opportunity for student orgs to be able to benefit from this funding. So when we're thinking about the events that happen in the beginning of the year, whether it be the Involvement Fair or the Multicultural Expo, students are able to program for their organizations just because when we're at the start of the year, there's an influx of students, there's new freshmen, one of the biggest freshman classes we've ever had in the university, including transfer students, international students. It's really those first couple of weeks that are really big for getting your name out there as an organization and making yourself accessible to other students. So we wanted to give them an opportunity to do so, or at least tap into some funding to be able to do so with the early bird funding cycle. I wasn't shocked by the amount of people that took part in that application, but I was more relieved and very elated that we had a lot of student organizations who were not only able to benefit off of that funding cycle, but they did some amazing things in the beginning of the year. And overall, we approved around 20 budget requests, and it was a total of over $20,000. So I would say it's a really decent chunk, and it's a really good contribution to student organizations, and I was just very honored that we were able to do that. But that's pretty much it. We added on the early bird funding cycle this year, so it really depends on current SAC going forward if that's something that would be rolling forward. However, I still think it's an amazing opportunity, and if I had the option to, we would do it again. But that's the overall breakdown of our overall SAC budget, and there are a lot of informed individuals on SAC, so I'm very confident in our overall ability to be able to review different budget applications, and that is why I love SAC so much. And these events that actually took place earlier in the semester, this was the Mid-Autumn Festival, and right there in the middle, that's Thankful and his family. But I was very glad to be able to see something like this be able to take place, especially because this was the first annual that they were able to do. So I'm really glad that they actually applied for our early bird funding cycle, and I had a slew of meetings with them over the summer about different logistics and different things like that. So when I say that SAC is accessible to students, we are accessible to students. I make it my first priority to help any individual or student organization with any SAC questions or anything like that. And the overall information that we're spreading down to the newer members of SAC as well is a solidified way for us to be able to continue that and be able to be a resource for students. But this was an amazing opportunity. I'm sorry, I just love this, and it was a really big turnout, and I was really glad that they were able to do something like that, especially at the beginning of the semester. And this is just one example of the many different things that our student organizations do and how they're programming for other students and creating different opportunities for them. But I'm not one of the longer presenters, so that's the entirety. So I do appreciate everyone's time, and I would like to open the floor to any questions as well.
Anybody have any questions for Trinity regarding SAC?
What types of things can SAC not fund?
Yes, that's a very good question. So when we talk about sustainability, Real Flowers, I know it seems like, what? But yeah, Real Flowers is something that SAC cannot fund. We also do not fund events that are not open to the entirety of the student body. So if the events are maybe something that is just for your organization, that is something that we cannot fund, unfortunately. But it also goes back to our overall mission of SAC. Our goal is to help the entirety of the student body and programming for the entirety of the student body. So if we have events that are maybe not open to other individuals, that is something that we do not fund. We also look at the sustainability aspect of a lot of different things. So if we're talking about maybe individual plastic bags or different things like that, we do not fund things like that. Kaden catches those very well, but we also all do a very good job of just noticing different things that are not sustainable, and also ways that we can maybe go another route of finding resources to where they are sustainable. We also do not fund, we only fund travel for competition, and there is a cap of $3,000 or $150 per person, whichever comes first. But that is only for competition. So for organizations similar to Mock Trial, or we have a men's volleyball team, you would apply for different things like that if we're going to a competition. We do not fund networking trips. As unfortunate as that is, we do not fund networking trips just because they are not competition based. But that is pretty much it as far as our exclusions. However, we do have a separate kind of blurb of our exclusions and our rules and procedures. If you go to our rules and procedures and go straight to page 36, scroll down a little bit, it's called funding exclusions, and everything under there shows the things that SAC does not fund. Oh, we also do not fund personal items. That can be seen as graduation cords, food bags, different things like that. So if a student organization was applying for graduation cords or something of that nature, it's not something that we can fund just because it's a personalized item and it's not beneficial to the entirety of the students that you're programming that.
Any other questions? I have a question. What are some ways that student organizations can fundraise without going through SAC?
Of course. So I don't know, usually student organizations have a VP of fundraising, director of fundraising, something like that. And it's also up to your respective student organizations how you would like to fundraise. But there are a slew of ideas. So I know they may seem minuscule, but there are things like buying e-board or selling different things on 4th Street or even hosting different events where students are able to come and not only participate in your event, but also contribute through monetary donations, whether that be buying snacks or different things like that. That is one of the best ways. It's gonna be kind of your set up a table and go with your e-board and actually be in the community actively fundraising type of fundraisers. Those are the best ways to generate funds with student organizations. As someone who's generated funds for a student board, that's really mainly where the majority of our money comes from. But I also think that something that we do not pay attention to enough is our alumni. Bobcats want to help Bobcats. So if you have the opportunity to reach out to your alumni and connect with them and explain different things that you're trying to do in your organization and stimulate growth and how they can contribute to that, Bobcats want to help Bobcats. So really the worst thing they can do is say no. I think it's an amazing opportunity to reach out to alumni and see if they're willing to donate to your organization. But also, it doesn't even have to be a monetary donation. It could be a donation of supplies or different things like that. But definitely reach out to Bobcats just because they are connected to the school just as we are as they reach to in here. And also, oftentimes, if they were involved in the same student organization that you were involved in, they want to help out 10 times based off of their experience within the organization. They want to create that for other students. A very good question.
Yeah. Any questions? All right, thank you so much, Trinity.
I will say for you.
Yeah, please.
I will say, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at all. I know I say that and it's giving broken records, but really, please, in all entirety. And also, if you know anybody, maybe outside of Student Senate, if y'all know anybody outside of Student Senate, that is in a student organization that has these questions, please send them my contact, just because it's so vital that we're providing people with correct information, but also giving them the outlet to access the information. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Will the Chief of Staff please call roll?
President Childers,
Present.
Vice President Cooley,
Present.
Treasurer Robinson,
Present.
Senator Zanatelli, Senator Dickens, Senator Hardman, Senator Phelps, Senator Thomas, Commissioner Barganer, Senator Bridgman, Senator McMullen, Commissioner Hibbs, Commissioner Gordillo, Senator Lopez, Commissioner Gillette, Senator Bacasio,
Present.
Commissioner Peters, Commissioner Arambula, Commissioner Zarbaugh,
Present.
Senator Free, Commissioner Lewis, Senator Tandon, Senator Farmer, proxy, Senator Davis, Commissioner Handel, Senator Spinner Smith, Senator Huntsman, Senator Quest, Clerk of Court Zeiler,
Present. Got me.
oh shoot, Senator McCarty, yeah, her proxy. Okay, we have 4.
Okay, approval of the previous meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the previous minutes? Are there any objections to approving the previous minutes? All right, seeing none, the minutes are approved. Old business. Okay, there are no additions to agenda. And there's no old business. All right, first up, we have Senate Resolution 2223-48, a resolution to appoint an associate justice to the judicial panel. Whereas there is a judicial panel within Student Senate, and whereas the rules and procedures state that there shall be 7 associate justices serving on the judicial panel, and whereas there is currently a vacancy in an associate justice position, and whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Nkita Basone be appointed as associate justice on the judicial panel for the 2022-2023 academic year, and be it further resolved that his appointment be effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. Primary sponsor, Mix Soren Starkley.
All right, so Soren asked me to say Akira, and for both Nate and I. She has noticed that the representation for international students and student orgs is lacking, so she wants to change that. She wants to be a representative for them and be a part of the judicial panel, as she feels she can provide a lot of unique viewpoints. Overall, she showed that she can be trusted to make unbiased decisions and improve the judicial panel. And that's, may I take the rest of my time?
Yep. Secondary sponsor, Mix Nathaniel Padilla.
Yeah, as said for Soren, Akita really impressed both of us in her interview. She has a high drive to get involved. She wants to add more international student representation in student boards, so that's one of the main reasons why she applied. And she also wants to learn more about the parliamentary procedures that the student panel uses, and she's excited to learn all about it. And I think she would be awesome in the role. So I reserve the balance of my time.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Do I hear a motion?
Move to vote.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-48. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Oh, thank you. All those opposed, please say nay. Okay, resolution passes. No abstentions. Okay, thanks. That is so funny to me. Okay. Next, we have Senate Resolution 2223-49, a resolution to appoint an Environmental Affairs Vice Commissioner to the Student Senate. Whereas there is a Student Senate at Ohio University, and whereas the rules and procedures state that there shall be an Environmental Affairs Commission within Student Senate, and whereas there is currently a vacancy in the Environmental Affairs Vice Commissioner position, and whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Morgan Dorres be appointed as Environmental Affairs Vice Commissioner for the 2022-2023 academic year, and be it further resolved that this appointment be effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. Primary sponsor, Mr. Caden Hibbs.
Yeah, so, we met with Morgan, Nate, we thought that she brought a lot of people with ideas and passion overall. She had really took the initiative with me as an intern with the older guy. She kind of started it out and kind of laid the outline for it, which is exactly what I needed for that project. And I think that she has a lot of passion for issues like recycling. And I think going forward, it's going to be great to have her helping out in my commission, just bringing new ideas to the table, collaborating with me, and see what we can do to promote some sustainability and environmental work on campus.
Reserve your time. Secondary sponsor, Mix Nathaniel Padilla.
In her short time in Senate, Morgan has impressed me very much. She already works very well with Commissioner Hibbs and has a lot of great ideas how to educate the student body on environmental issues. So though I will miss her as an intern, I believe she will absolutely thrive in this role. So there's no balance of the time.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Do I hear a motion? Yes. Yes.
Move to friendly amend line 5 to Commissioner of Education.
Yeah.
It should be Vice Commissioner of Education for every single time it's said.
Gotcha. But we're good because it was, right, okay. Now do I hear a motion?
Move to vote.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-49. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
Aye.
please say nay. We're gonna work on that lag. All those in favor, all those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? None. Resolution passes. Okay, last for the night, Senate Resolution 2223-50, a resolution to require office hours for the executive and chief justices of the Student Senate Judicial Panel. Whereas there is a student senate at Ohio University, and whereas the rules and procedures state in 3.01G that there shall be office hours for each position listed in chapters 3.02, 3.03, 3.05, 3.06, 3.07, 3.08, 3.09, 3.10, 3.11, 3.12, and 3.13. And whereas office hours are required for student senate members and the clerk of court of the judicial panel, and whereas the chief and executive justices are currently not required to hold office hours, and whereas office hours are established to improve communication between Senate and the student body, and whereas office hours for members of the judicial panel would improve communication between the Senate and judicial panel and the judicial panel and the student body, therefore be it resolved, the Chief Justice and Executive Justice of the Student Senate Judicial Panel be required to hold office hours for 3 and 2 hours each week respectively. Be it further resolved that the rules and procedures 3.01, 4.03, and 4.04 be updated to reflect this change immediately, as shown in appendices A, B, and C. Primary sponsor, Soren Starkley.
All right. Soren wanted me to say the expectation that Senate members and the clerk of court go to office hours is based on the idea that senators need to be readily available to the student body. The judicial panel has, on multiple occasions, failed to be accessible to students and the Senate. The only way to resolve this isn't just to make our meetings open or change the R&P, but to make the time of the leaders of the JP available when needed. I hope office hours will make this possible, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Emily Marlowe, Executive Justice.
I echo everything Soren says. Reserve the balance of my time.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Yes.
I will say that I think having them serve office hours is very important. Not only does it make them more accessible to us as members of the Senate, because we'll know exactly where they'll be, when they'll be there. It makes it a lot easier for us to reach them. I know a lot of times I can lose emails all the time. So having them in a physical location will be very helpful for us. It will also help the student body as a whole better know judicial panel. Initially, judicial panel was created from 3 branches of Senate that were just not functioning well within Senate as a whole. And so it branched off, but I think through that branch off, we started losing a connection with judicial panel. And experiences in the last several years have kind of demonstrated that there's not a very thorough connection there. And I'm hopeful that if we pass this resolution, we'll begin to kind of bring the judicial panel back into being a part of Senate and a cohesive part of it. I reserve the balance of my time.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-49. Oh, -50. Yeah, 50. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. All right, commission reports.
So I'm reporting on behalf of the Senate Appropriations Commission. We have an upcoming biweekly funding deadline this Friday at 5:00 p.m. Next, we have semesterly funding coming up, which is due Friday, November 11th at 5:00 p.m. SAC is hosting workshops Mondays 2 to 4 and Thursdays 1:30 to 3. The link for those is also available on the application itself. But with that, that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
So yes, I began meeting with our academic affairs senators technically last Friday, but I've been continuing those meetings this week. We'll be meeting kind of bi-weekly. Hopefully, we'll be able to fill the academic affairs commissioner soon, and I will no longer be meeting with them, and we'll instead have a cohesive commission meeting. But as far as a few updates, our Russ College Senator, Emily, has put together an amazing wellness week for her constituents and the university as a whole. So the remaining events include a meet, greet, and treat tomorrow between 2 to 5 in the Academic and Research Center atrium, as well as a game night with pizza provided between 6 to 7 p.m. on Friday, which is going to be located in the Academic and Research Center 112. Other notable project ideas from some of the senators include a possible cleanup and revitalization project of the space between 29 Park Place to make the former President's Gardens a usable space for students, as well as outreach to suggest improvements to our College of Fine Arts buildings. And then finally, our College of Business Senator is also working with the college to develop a tradition for the college to help provide a consistent identity and activity for all students within the college. And I still have a few more meetings to have with our other academic affairs senators. So that's not all of the updates from the commission, but for now, that is all of the updates.
Thank you.
That is the end of my report.
Yep. Commissioner Gillette. Commissioner Gillette.
It's Gillette.
Gillette. Oh, sorry.
So for the international student affairs commission, in terms of vending machines for international tech, I had a meeting with the culinary, and we are very excited to do so, and we have had 10 different countries respond to our survey so far, so we're excited to organize that and looking for vendors, so that should be moving along fine. And I will say that I was pleasantly surprised at how culinary responded. They even said that they would be willing to try to the snack ones and ones that they had to ship along with they would be willing to do that. So that was really nice of them. And in terms of the international student visit, I have a meeting with Diane Keenan, who is the director of IQ, tomorrow to see how we can run there.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing too new, we're still working on our voter guide, and then we turned in a budget request for our pumpkin event, we're now doing new pumpkins and painting, so there's pumpkins just for ease of carrying around and people able to have them in their doors and things like that. Also, more sustainable around a bunch of pumpkin trash that we would likely won't dispose of properly once they're inside and being hard. We're having it on College Street on October 28th, so a bunch of people will be around the Fourth Street area, and then once they show us at the University of they can get some food and pumpkin. On Friday, we are meeting with Sarasota from Flow, talk about moving that around campus some more, having it more accessible for students in more places. We're also discussing holding a walk a mile for shoes event in the spring and using some of the funds allocated for the Eagle Walk, which is normally paired with Love Yourself Week, for doing that instead. And I'm also emailing last year's planning committee for Love Yourself Week, see if we can put that on sometime soon. Dr. Fowler just sent out today actually a very similar email in regards to St. Patrick's Night. So all of the people who were on that planning committee last year, they respond, they're still interested in being part of it. We will get meetings for that started. And that's it for my report.
Thank you.
Got an email about the flash shipment today because we're still like running issues, and therefore they're not going to arrive soon enough. So we'll have to push the market back. That's not how we're pushing about that. But as far as that goes, we'll still be having it because they're already ordered, or it will be pushed back. No new changes for as, because I'm not connected enough to the issue of like, something that's not, representing things correctly. So I want to explain the background on that. Other than that, no other new changes, yet.
Thank you. Are you still doing the handing out the flags at the top of Baker?
Yeah.
I will be, just need to reschedule the meeting because it's not going to be around after coach.
Yeah. Can you speak up a little? Mhm. Thank you.
So responses are beginning to roll in on our survey, we have 50 responses so far. Some great ideas that are coming through, things that I haven't even seen in my 4 years. This is me talking, not Lee. On the commission. And then we also just learned about, plans to update some restroom signage in May, to have bigger expressions. So we'll be following up on that process, reaching out to whoever's doing that. And this is my report.
Thank you. Yeah, can we go ahead and have to roll the report?
Laurel, if you want to go ahead and give your report, you can mute yourself.
Okay, I'm still waiting for everything to be done with like the QR codes in the survey before I give them to housing. Still waiting on that, and then hopefully I'll have a commission meeting next week, so we can talk about programming ideas that my commissioner and senator have. And then I'm also waiting to hear from Joanna about room selection in the spring, and that's the end. So my report.
Thank you. Sarah, University Life Commission report.
Not that I have.
Okay. Oh, yes.
So we're currently working for a sustainability initiative, opt-in fee for Ohio University. We're hoping to talk to some community leaders, possibly the mayor in the future, for approval of such a fee to put more pressure on the university to set type of recommendation that we would make in the Senate. Since I mentioned before, this is something that was rejected back in 2016. There's more research being done into how exactly communities are being used to cover this future for Ohio. Right now, we're currently finishing up our environmental voter guide, and after the elections kind of conclude and we finish that up, we'll kind of move on to trying to educate students about recycling properly, and we will also think about possibly creating a survey for students to voice their opinions about environmental issues on campus and provide some feedback for our
Thank you. Is there a governmental affairs report? Okay. Any Senate committee reports? PPM.
Yeah, so I'm reporting on behalf of the Leadership Development Committee. Our first meeting is actually going to take place this next Friday. I'm excited to commence the committee so we can begin further developing leadership among members of the body. So if anybody does have any ideas or programming that they would like to see, please let myself know and I will be able to pass those along to the rest of the committee members, and we can hopefully get some conversation started. Currently, some ideas that have already been passed through is green dot bystander training among members of the body. And as well, the committee is also going to be planning our Senate Alumni Network and Advocacy trip in to DC that usually happens in the spring. So more updates on that will be coming as the committee commences.
Thank you.
I just wanted to report that the form for budget applications was not working previously. It wasn't allowing you to upload any price documentation or anything like that. However, it is fixed, so it should be able to work now. That's the end of my report.
University committee reports tonight. And my report. Hi, everyone. I hope you all are staying warm this week. Remember to bundle up and stay aware of your health as the season changes. But thankfully, this past Monday was not too cold for our safety walk. Administrators and student senate leadership walked together on campus to identify areas of safety concern. This includes more or improved lighting, walkways, stairways, police presence, and university safety communication. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the walk. It was a great opportunity for commissioners to meet directly with admin and speak about what they were working on in Senate. As your president, I want to uplift the work that you all are doing, and hosting events like the walk are great opportunities to further advocate for your constituents. So please remember that when invitations come your way. I will update the body with what administration plans to address with our safety concerns, and I hope you have a very safe weekend. That's the end of my report.
So it is the midpoint of the semester. I know things are really tough right now as far as classes and the weather changing and all of that. So please make sure you're taking care of yourself. And with that, please also just communicate with us. We want to support you as individuals, but we can't do that if we don't know what's going on. So just make sure that there's open communication then. We also have a lot of seats filled in Senate, but we also have more to fill. So please continue encouraging others to apply to the Senate. The more positions we have, the more effective we can be and the more change we're able to create on campus. Again, there is a pressing need for an academic affairs commissioner in particular, but filling all of the open positions can also make a difference as well. And related to that, please continue engaging in outreach. Each commission should have access to a comprehensive student outreach list that I made over the summer that has both the Chief of Staff Pennington, can you hold off in just a minute?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Sorry about that, y'all. So each commission should have access to a comprehensive student outreach list with both the president and advisor's contact information. If you do not have access to that, please let me know and I will make sure you get it. Additionally, another avenue for outreach can and should include going to student organization meetings. Depending on your position, only 1 or 2 of your office hours must be completed in the office. So if you would like to attend an organization's meeting, but you don't have the availability in your schedule, you may shift 1 or 2 of your office hours each week to attend another organization's meeting that usually happen in the evenings. But with that, we do ask that you let us know in advance of when those are going to be and when you're going to do that. So that way we're aware and can redirect anybody who may be coming into the office looking for you during your normally scheduled office hours. And that also so we don't assign you points. As always, please remember to clock those even if you're doing them outside of the office. And that is the end of my report.
Course registration is nearing. Just make sure you all are staying on top of planning out your courses prior to the registration window because you don't want to not be able to register based on capacity or anything like that. Also make sure you're meeting with your advisors and planning for success for this upcoming semester. I want to extend a thank you to the Vice President of Student Affairs, Bill Schaefer, for a generous addition to our overall Senate budget. This contribution will continue to fund the amazing work and efforts you all are doing to connect with students. I'll be announcing it later on when in the numbers within our new total, but I just wanted to extend appreciation on behalf of the Senate leadership team for the contribution to our future and our success and excellence. With that, I've expanded some allocations to a Pride Week and Take Back the Night. The new allocation to Pride Week will be $2,666.63, and that'll be the same for Take Back the Night at $2,666.63. I recently also just made some discretionary purchases for the Rusk College Welcome based on materials not being able to get here in time and different things like that. So we purchased terracotta pots from Joann Fabrics. These are approximate and I will confirm the overall totals based on receipts at the following meeting. But for terracotta pots for a total of around 32 for $45.91. They're also 40% off if y'all want it. But for planting soil from Dollar Tree, $3.75. Succulents from Walmart as well for $64.51. And then Insomnia cookies for tomorrow's event for $243.99. Now I will say, please remember that they are approximate, and I will confirm that at the next meeting. I just wanted to make sure that I let you all know that I did make those purchases before our following GBM. But with that, we can continue on into the numbers. So for our Senate total, we have $44,443.82. Allocated not spent, $11,203.26. Not allocated nor spent, $33,240.56. For the SAC total, we have $277,872.61. Spot, we have $271,460.16. And then the U Fund, we have $6,412.45. And these numbers are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. And with that, that is the end of my report.
Everybody, so the first thing I want to do, I lied, I do have Dan's report, and it was buried in my email, I completely missed it. So this is Commissioner Gordillo's report. Met with Mayor Patterson about my bill. He voiced great support for the part about poll workers. We bounced ideas off of each other about ways we can spread information about different ways to vote. Met with Chief Reimer shortly after, and we talked about a potential fire fee and other ways the university could support the fire department in Athens, and sent out my bill to constituents. So that's Dan's report. Now into my actual report. So my regular weekly reminder to clock your office hours. We are into week 9, and I'm still seeing people not regularly doing that. I know that it's a little bit of a learning curve to remember to do that before you leave the office, but you are getting points if you don't clock those, and they really do start to add up, and I don't want to refer somebody to JP just because you haven't clocked your office hours for so many weeks in a row. So I know I see some of you in the office doing them, but then I look at the Clockify and they're not there. And if they're not there, my hands are tied. There's nothing that I can do. So if you're not sure if you're clocking your office hours correctly, please, please, please come talk to me and we'll get you sorted out. Also, if you or someone you know is not part of the Slack, please let me know. Everyone should be added, but I may have missed somebody. So if you or somebody you know is not part of that, please tell me. Additionally, make sure that we are using that Slack for informal communications, like finding proxies, advertising events, stuff like that. If you do have events, please take pictures and send them to our lovely historian who is sitting in the back today. She will give you more updates later as to what all she wants for those events to put in the archives. But in the meantime, please be documenting your events through photos. Also, speaking of events, please attend other Senate members' events if you can. Speaking from experience, it means the world to have your peers participate in those kinds of events. So please, go out and support your fellow Senate members if you can. And with that, that is the end of my report.
Hi everyone, I'm filling out the Google Doc to finish to send over to UCM about editing our website. I have everyone written down, and in my minute report is going to be a list of people that I'm missing information on. If I do not get any information from you, you are literally just going to have your name on the website, which I would prefer not to have. Secondly, please remember to send me any PR requests and any photos you have. It's going to help me out in the long run. And then lastly, just a reminder about PR. If anything goes out to the student body regarding Student Senate, it does have to unfortunately go through me. I need to make sure that it's double check and make sure that it's in the best light for Student Senate, as well as add our seal to it. And if any news people reach out to me, like the Post, the New Political, you do also have to reach out to me. So, thank you guys.
All right, so I love seeing new people on the panel, so thank you for approving Jalen last week since I wasn't here. And Akira, today. But JP is currently working on amending the point system in RMP, so I hope to have a RMP legislation come for you guys soon. And election changes and information will also be coming out soon, so please keep an eye out on that because there are deadlines. If you don't meet those deadlines, you're kind of SOL, so keep an eye out. So now with the RMP change for office hours being passed today, so thank you guys for that again. I will make sure to let you all know SRNM's office hours when they are cemented. But for the new members in the room, my office hours are from 10 to 12 on Mondays and then 2 to 4 on Friday. And then, just a reminder, during this busy time of the semester, please make sure to be taking care of yourself. Go on a hike to the ridges or go see a new movie. We have a lot of new horror movies that came out, and it's Halloween time, it's spooky time. Go see one. Go scare yourself a bit. And that's the end of my report.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I have a brief report tonight. I just wanted to say thank you to Trinity for your SAC presentation tonight. We appreciate your leadership and support of student organizations with SAC. And thanks to everybody who was part of the safety walk on Monday night. It was really great, and some really great stories were told about areas that needed improvement across campus, and so we appreciate that. And as the nights come earlier and the weather changes and it gets cooler out, I appreciate your continued commitment to come to the Senate throughout. I know that all of you have busy commitments and time around this time of the year, so I appreciate you coming out again tonight. The last thing that I will mention is Dan came and talked to me a few weeks ago about the resolution related to Election Day. And we had a great conversation for about an hour about different policies across campus, different people for him to connect with. And I just want to extend that invitation to all of you too. If you want to talk about a resolution or things you're concerned about on or across campus, I'm happy to help you with that too. And that concludes my report.
So I wanted to introduce another one of my interns, Inga. She's a part of the International Affairs Commission. Give her a round of applause because you gave the other intern a round of applause. Anyway, if you see her in my office, say hi. She's awesome. I know I sound like a broken record, but next week we're dressing up everyone, even though Junie came today, so she's setting a trend. It's okay, we love it. So come in your costume if you so please, and we will be taking it afterwards. So I hope to see everyone in a costume. Just be mindful of it. As Vice President Cooley said, remember to continue to fill up seats in the Senate. We still have a lot more seats needed, especially for the Academic Affairs Commission. I actually have uploaded 2 documents onto Bobcat Connect, one of them being a list of current open positions, and another being just a position description for every single one position. So have your friends or whoever's interested to look at that, and obviously have them email myself, someone on the leadership team, or the Senate email if they were to have any questions. Please make sure y'all are taking care of yourselves, and don't be afraid to check in with each other to make sure we're all good. The weather is drastically changing, so stay warm and be mindful of your mental health. Definitely reach out if you need someone to talk to. I'm happy to be here for all of you, and if you need someone to walk with you to see tests, or you need to make that phone call, I'm more than happy to. But other than that, if you need anything from me, reach out.
Is there a motion on the floor to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Are there any objections to adjournment? Meeting is adjourned.
Wow.
How are you? Yeah, we only have 3 pieces of legislation, and this is kind of the time of the year where everyone's working towards something new. So it kind of feels like the beginning of the year again, now that we're at the second half of the semester.
Yeah, it'll start picking up the closer we get to spring, and then in spring,
It will be, yes.
And those will also probably be longer meetings.
Yeah.
Bring them on.